Good morning, everyone. The meeting is called to order. Everyone here? Everyone's here?
Ronnie will not be in today, and Brandy is just prepping one of her programs that is beginning now. She'll be in shortly. Christina will also not be attending.
Well, you're here, that's important.
That's right.
I'm here.
We should be out of here very early. We only have one speaker today at 10:15.
I ran into Matthew last night. He did say that he was going to try to make it today, so we'll see.
Congratulations to
Depending on how
him.
late his
Party went.
If he's still not tolerating it, huh?
All right, so like to make one change to the agenda today, and that is that we're going to have two speakers. One speaker, Lily Moon, about 10:15 from Boulder Workforce. Our other participants will come at a later date.
Okay.
So can I have a motion to approve the agenda with that change? Second? Second by John. Public invited to be heard. Ladies on the far left, I don't mean the far left, but that side of the room. Everybody lean the other way. Sorry. All right, welcome guests. Let's see, approval of the previous month's minutes. Any changes?
Yes. I just have one thing. I actually read these. So where it says, all right, let me get it here. Where it says friends, no report, it's not quite correct. The report was turned in and I actually gave out copies of it at the meeting. So there was actually a friends report that day.
Oh, okay. I don't think I seen
probably
that you
didn't
had
get one.
passed them out. Yes, I did not receive one. So
Right.
I had just went on what was
It was exciting.
given through email. I'm sorry I missed out on that. Well, I'll get updated.
Any other changes? Call for approval of the minutes.
So good.
Monty, seconded.
Second.
John, thank you. Let's see. Lily said she'd be here about 10:15. Let's skip to the reports. Manager report. Will Brandy give that, do you think?
Yes.
Okay. So wait for Brandy to give the manager report. Matthew, recovering from his after-watch party. Good. Any other reports?
Yes. I would like to talk a little bit about the food table. Let me do it now or later?
Let's do it now.
Okay. So we have met with Naomi. I'm sorry. And so she has some suggestions. And one of them is that she has a chart here that she would like people to sign up for all of the things that you feel like comfortable doing at our food table. So if you want to be a door greeter, or you want to hand out food, or you want to package food, or you want to stomp on the cardboard, or whatever it is, there should be room here, folks. Kind of squeeze in here a little bit. So I'm going to hand this around, and you guys take a look at it and put down. Now be aware that if there is food to pick up and carry, it's going to be about 40 pounds, I believe is what we decided on. So if you're not comfortable with doing that, that's when it's coming out of the cooler out here. When we're packaging back up onto the table, it's probably not going to be the 40 pounds. But if you're not comfortable doing that, don't sign up for it, okay? This is a showing of our distribution so far, where we're at, what we've done, and this, I'm going to pass it this way so we can, everybody can take a look at it and see what we've done so far. We were given eggs last month. We packaged up the eggs into a dozen cartons. We also are going to receive some eggs for this month. So that saves us some money as far as having to buy produce. Not produce. Eggs and meat. And I will pass this around too, because this is actually the funding thing, so that you will see, I'll talk about it a little bit. You will see where we've gotten community donations, where we've gotten what it cost for eggs in the past, what it cost for ground beef, little notes at the side. We have some ground beef left over from last time because our numbers weren't quite as big. several things were going on in the city. Also, VIA has stopped giving free rides on Saturdays for people.
That's too bad.
So that's another situation that probably takes away from people being able to get here. I think when we come up, of course, you all know that we're not doing it on the 8th this month, the second Saturday. We're
Right.
doing it on the 3rd, which is the 15th. I've finally learned how to count. So we've tried to get as much information out on that as we can. I will try to be here on the 8th, early in the morning, to catch people and say, hey, it's next week.
We're gonna have signage out too.
So anyway, I'm gonna pass this around. You can see what we have left over after we've taken a look at where we're at, because we do have to buy meat for this month. And you can see where we're at. The other thing is, we're open to donations, whether you wanna donate money, however you want to. We certainly are open. We will mention this to friends as well. And I believe that CARES giving right now, Giving for CARES is also taking donations for the senior food. So that's kind of where we're at. I will pass this around also so that you guys can get an idea and see how it's been working out. And, hang on, I have my notes here. These are my notes that I made at our meeting. I want y'all to see.
Very professional.
What Naomi is seeing at her other functions is that there's been quite an influx of people coming in based on what's going on right now, which is SNAP. And, you know, we don't know what's going to happen on the 15th, but we're sort of kind of trying to plan ahead because there's a very, very real possibility we're going to have an uptick. So we're going to plan for at least 100. And of course, if there's any meat left over, it will be put into the freezer because it's frozen anyway. We're carrying forward. Eggs will, since they're donated, they will just go to some other place that she has. So that's kind of where we're at as far as the food market goes. Other than I need to know who is going to be available to help on the 15th. Eric? Lonnie?
And John,
And John P. Marta? We need you there, Marta, because you keep that.
Yeah, move along.
Everybody move.
Maria? John?
And
Dave? I see Popkin over there. Is it Maria?
Let's give Maria.
I got Maria. Eric, Lonnie, Ann, John P., Marta, Maria, John H., Dave, and Matt. And of course myself. Anybody else? Okay.
let me ask real quick, are we gonna be repackaging eggs?
No,
Oh,
I already asked that question.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Sure.
sure.
So for the 72 households and the 142 people, do we have a sense of their ages?
They're seniors. We don't ask anybody, you mean, are they, we don't ask anybody their age, okay? And people have offered us, information, but we don't take it. We are just making the assumption that they're at least 55 or 60. But I would say the majority of them are older, based on what I'm seeing. I hand out the numbers and talk to the people. So no, that is not something
What do
we're
you
asking.
classify as old?
Somebody who doesn't look like they're 18.
Oh, okay. That makes it clear.
I'll be there.
You would come? But you'll be there for the
Oh.
native, no, you wanna help
Actually,
on the 15th? Let me know.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, also as a note, we talked to Naomi, they're the busiest table they've ever done in a city. It was 212 households. Last week, when they ran for the SNAP benefits, they had 254. And that's just 1 week into it.
The
So
Sunday one, the Sunday meet.
we think
Over at
that,
Collier?
we think the 15th is gonna be a busy day.
One at the Collier, I think.
Yeah.
Collier Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So they're picking up.
Be ready for the 15th.
And I volunteered at the R Center this week, Monday. It was bad.
Was it?
Yeah.
Imagine it's
I
gonna
read
be.
this morning that Weld County had their food distribution yesterday, and it was was twice as much as they
Yeah.
previously.
They were on the news. They were like highlighting them as
Okay,
far as
yeah.
the talk about whether people are getting their SNAP benefits or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was on
Yeah.
News 7 or something.
Right.
News 7.
They were around the block.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
I mean, the
I
pictures
know
were.
Naomi did say at the Collier one that they did run out of food and she had to go out and get additional food,
Oh
so.
my gosh.
Yeah, they've done that for us once before. They can do that, but, yeah, we may be inundated and then again, we may not, so we're just gonna plan.
The hard part, talking to Naomi about the last food distribution, was she said people were so emotionally distraught, there was some pushing and shoving that started to happen.
They had to break up the fight.
Yeah.
At ours or at their?
No, on the Collier. So it just shows that it's an issue that's coming up, so we'll just be aware of that
Where
on
did
the
that
15th.
happen?
Collier
Collier.
Park.
Oh,
They
The
do it-
Collier Park one?
Yeah,
They don't have to be seniors though, right?
For ours. they
not
say.
at Collier.
No, but
Yeah.
not
Not
a
at
Collier.
Collier.
Yeah.
So if
We've
we're,
only had one time that anybody ever complained about somebody cutting in the line. Yeah, our people are pretty good.
They
yes,
are.
Martha doesn't put up with any of that.
And they kind of police themselves too, so
They do.
they're good about that.
So before we introduce our speaker, I'd like to offer a round of applause for our liaison. Hopefully he'll continue. That would be you. He's got good after party. I'm glad to hear that.
So can I say something too? I'd like
Please.
to give a little speech when you have time.
Please introduce yourself and
Right now?
sure, why not?
Okay, I live in Village on Main. My name's Lisa Long, and I have a little speech. Let's see if I can find, like, it's short. I couldn't get my, So I live in the low-income housing Village on Main. For months, my neighbors have been exposed 24/7 to RF levels, radio frequency levels from the cell tower in front of our building, right? Between 150 and 250. While in many other countries, including Russia, Poland, Italy, Switzerland, and all of Eastern Europe, the safe levels are at around 100 or lower. And we're 150 to 250 in the apartment. We should be reducing U.S. exposure to these safer levels, not accepting much higher levels that affect our daily lives and health. Living here, we have no choice and no way to escape this constant exposure. It affects our sleep, our comfort, our sense of safety. We feel helpless with no control over what happens in our homes. And now these towers could be added on school grounds and other places where children spend hours every day without meaningful local input. U.S. law provides providers to expand or modify facilities even if the community objects, as long as they follow FCC rules, meaning our voices often don't carry weight when it comes to health concerns. We are not against connectivity, but our health, our children's safety, and our sense of security cannot be sacrificed for speed. And it has nothing to do with speed, because we had internet at 3G, right? We had it at 4G. We had it. They just keep upping it. And let's see. So I ask you all to consider and buy monitors. I'll show you this. Require independent exposure measurements, maintain local control over setbacks, implement safeguards and monitoring, especially schools and residential buildings. We deserve a community where families feel safe, not powerless. The U.S. can and should follow international safety standards. Reduce RF exposure to 100 and protect all residents, especially children and those in low-income housing who cannot escape these exposures. We should not have to feel helpless in our own homes or worry about our children at school. So that's a quick overview, and I can show you some stuff on here. You're fine in here. So the top one is EMF exposure, and if you put it next to your, his computer, it would go on. And then this middle one is magnetic frequency, and the bottom one's RF, right? These are on sale right now on Amazon for $25. And I paid $100 for an EMF meter years ago, and it's still working. So when I moved in, I used my EMF meter, and I thought, oh, it's no biggie. And then about June, they were upgrading the tower. I don't know if I have wireless on here, but I'll show you on my phone. So in June, they were upgrading the tower because the council approved it, and they've got you guys so tied in. I looked at the legal documents for our city, all cities, and they have to approve it within 90 days. They have to have a reason not to approve it. So the council kind of has their hands tied about what to approve. And I watched them. I have photos of them cranking up new things onto the tower, right by it's on 6th and Kaufman. If you guys don't know where the village on Main is. So in the U.S., they only count how much it burns your skin in 6 minutes. That's it.
16 minutes.
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
So that's the exposure limit, how much it burns your skin in 6 minutes. And they don't count any brain, they don't count anything inside, they don't count any other damage. So they can do, we go up to 200, so 100 is a standard. The US, they can go up to 1,000. Right, they can radiate us up to 1,000. I've spent $1,300 so far in my little bitty 600 square foot apartment. I had to get permissions. Paint's $100 a gallon and it's black, so I haven't done that. And then you have to, the windows cost me $500 for like that much windows to get the blockage, and mine's down to yellow. I still haven't got it all the way down to green. So I'll show you what it looks like in our building real quick.
Hey Lisa, can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah.
What is it you are asking us?
Well, this is seniors advisory.
Right.
We've got 300 seniors. We've got 3 buildings around the tower that are being exposed to high levels of RF radiation. So they're
Lisa, I think the question is, what would you like the board to do on your behalf?
I'd like y'all to wake up.
Can you define
I'd like y'all to start looking at what's happening, and now the other thing is that they're trying to get through Congress. So right now you have 90 days to approve them upgrading the towers, right? Right now this is through Congress, the FCC, and the EPA contacted me. They said the Colorado, they can't do anything. It's through Washington. So the only choice we had is local city councils can, if they can find some reason to stop a tower. They're trying to put wireless deployment. Locals will have no say, none. They could put 5G on every corner and on every schoolyard. That's going through right now.
Let me stop you. I don't know that this is the correct place to be talking about that. What we do is we advise the city council and the city manager and the mayor and everyone on what issues are going on with seniors.
This is senior issues.
Right, but it's what they have control over.
Well, they have control right now. They have control.
I don't think this is the place for
I
you
want to show you a
to
quick
be.
little video. It's not gonna.
Lisa, we've got to move the meeting along. Here's what I'd like you to do.
Actually, outside speakers are limited to 3 minutes.
Okay.
And so
Well, the video's 30 seconds.
Lisa,
Lisa.
Lisa, look at me. Let's do this. If you'll give me the information, we'll talk about amongst ourselves and take some appropriate action. I appreciate your coming forward.
I don't know if you will.
Well,
I really don't. I don't know if you will.
well, it's outside our charge. That's what Lonnie was trying to say.
I know, but
Right.
what you're all understanding is they keep it outside your charge, so you have no control over what happens to you. So what happens when your kids or your grandkids are getting brain cancer? A lady who stopped it, they tested fire stations. They were putting them on top of fire stations, and the guys sleep there.
Lisa,
And
Lisa,
so they got, and so
hold
she
on,
tested them.
hold
6
on.
out of 6 of
Lisa,
them
stop.
had brain damage.
Lisa, hold on a second. We need to cut this short. I appreciate you coming
Well,
forward.
I just want to show
Lisa?
you what the radiation is.
Lisa,
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 What?
hey, please turn that off.
You're
Lisa-
not going to let me have 30 more seconds.
We've gone past the allotted time. I'd like you to sit down and listen to the rest of the meeting, or leave if you like.
No, I'll leave. This
Okay.
is more important than
Okay,
a lot of things you're
Thank
talking
you.
about. But
Lisa,
Lisa, when people come in for public speaking,
I didn't
public
see
to
a
be
timer,
heard, there's a 3-minute time period.
and I didn't see a timer.
Well,
Lisa?
we know it was over 3 minutes,
Okay,
so.
this is what I wanted to show you. This is in our coding.
Lisa, stop. We're done. Turn it off.
So,
Lisa, turn it off, please.
okay, I just want
Lisa,
you
I
all to
appreciate
see.
Lisa. Really appreciate you coming to speak here. I've seen your emails as well that you sent.
Oh, you have?
Yes,
Yeah.
What's your name?
Matthew Popkin.
Are you the one that emailed me back? Because I haven't emailed a lot of you guys to nobody I know back.
I may have. I'd have to check. I've corresponded with multiple residents about this. We have multiple utility folks and legal folks looking into this, and I appreciate the chair and vice chair kind of trying to maintain the process and the discussion that they have on their agenda. So thank you for
I know.
coming
My
to speak.
point is, you guys, if you don't do anything, you go, I'm helpless in Washington, then you're helpless.
I understand.
I mean,
Thank you
that's
for
what
Thank
coming
I'm
to speak here.
So
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
that's
Lisa.
what happens, and this is
Thank you,
this
Lisa.
is
Yes.
down at 6th and Main when you sit down there. It's up to 250 at 6th and Main when you're
Thank you,
sitting
Lisa.
outside our building.
Thank you again. Appreciate it.
You're welcome and come over if you want. I'll show you with the meter.
All right.
Take care.
We have a, thank you. Guest speaker, do you want to introduce our speakers?
Yeah, so we've got, Liliana, and I'm sorry, your name again?
Lisa Jensen.
Lisa Jensen. So these folks are from Boulder Workforce. We've been talking to Boulder Workforce about senior employment issues. I've been talking with Brandy, because Brandy generally coordinates on, I think it's every other year, a job fair specifically focused on seniors. So anyway, in our discussions, we thought it'd be good to have Workforce educate us a little bit on what they do, because some of the work they do already impacts our senior community. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over, and the floor is yours.
Fantastic. Hi, my name is Lily Moon, and as Mr. Hillman mentioned, I am with Workforce Boulder County, and Lisa Jensen is also a part of that workforce. I work with the business services team, and we do basically outreach to employers to engage them with some of our job seekers. We do job fairs, and one of our bigger focuses lately has been the 55+ job fair, which we did in coordination with Brandy last year at the Senior Center. We plan on doing it again next year. And what we're seeing is a really, really big demand for 55+ employment. People are living longer, healthier, and therefore staying in the job force for a longer period of time. Unfortunately, the environment still seems to be jaded in favor of much younger workers. So that is something that we're actively working, seeking to educate people as well as employers and opportunities for job seekers as a focus going forward, including now. Lisa will be able to speak a little bit more about what opportunities we have for people, including seniors, and then we'll just wrap it up with a couple of details about future job fairs and what we can do for you on that end.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting us here. So how many know what a workforce center is? Oh man, I'm preaching to their choir. So there's I think 54 workforce centers across the state of Colorado. We're funded by federal money. The Department of Labor gives us grants every year to perform specific activities in service of helping people get employed, getting meaningful employment, and working with employers to make sure that we have a workforce pipeline that meets the needs of the community. And so 4.5 years ago, I knew nothing about workforce centers. but I had to learn because in 2020, with the onset of COVID, my job at the Anschutz campus, after working there in a variety of leadership roles for 23 years, my job was ended. It was a pilot program helping people get jobs on campus. And as you may remember, with COVID, everything shut down and no one was hiring and programs were closing, and mine was one of them. And so I found myself at 62 years old having to apply for a job, and I had not applied for a job in over 12 years at that time because, as you all probably know, a lot of the ways to get jobs is to talk to your colleagues and to your friends and associates and find out about new opportunities coming up. And so that was how I got every job I got, was by connecting with a colleague. Oh, you've got a new statewide program in preventing heart disease. I'd love to be involved in that. And then, that's how it worked. And the last interview that I had in person was in front of 12 people at a round table like this. And I knew most of them. So I knew what their concerns were. I knew how to talk to them as individuals and as leaders in their programs. When I got laid off in 2020 at 62 years old, I had no idea how to apply and get hired into a job. And it took me 14 months to get a job. I submitted over 70 applications. I started with a 5-page long resume, which, if you know anything about these days, nobody read that 5-page. They might have read the first page and that was it. And so after about, almost a year, I had gone back to school. I got a certification in human resources because that was most of the kinds of work that I had done before, was helping people get jobs. And so I got a certification in HR, but that still wasn't getting me in the door. And so I found out about a workshop at the Workforce Center that was about resumes, because I had a free counseling session with an older job seeker consultant who wanted to charge me $18.50, and as my daughter said, she didn't mean $18.50, and I'm like, nope, it was the other $18.50, and she was going to revise my resume and help me get hired. I didn't have $18.50, having been unemployed for 3/4 of a year and relying on unemployment insurance. And so I thought, well, I'll go to the Workforce Center because they probably have some workshops that could help me. And sure enough, I took the resume workshop and learned all the mistakes I had been making were well known, and there were ways around avoiding those mistakes. And so I followed those directions that I learned in that workshop, and the next 3 applications that I submitted, I got invited to an interview, and I got hired into one of them. So that ended my job seeking, and so I am a powerful advocate for workforce centers and the help that they can provide. So that said, some of the most common things that we see in older job seekers face and not succeed at is the changed environment, the changed culture, and the changed processes for hiring. So for example, in the good old days, the hiring manager looked at every application submitted. That is way not the way it happens now. It's either an overworked human resources person looking at the application, or it's artificial intelligence, IA, looking at the application. And so what that means is these new entities reviewing applications have no contextual knowledge about the job. So if I put on my application, well, I did a project with elementary schools, but the job I'm applying for is maybe grant management, they're like, we don't care. We don't care what you did in elementary schools. But maybe this hiring manager over here has a plan to get into elementary schools and try their program in elementary schools, but they didn't put that on the job application. So in the old days, the hiring manager would have seen that and went, oh, this person could really add value here. In the new days, it's just word matching. So my resume, my application needs to match the words on the job posting. And so our workshop teaches people how to do that. And it's not as onerous as you think. It's a lot less onerous than doing 70 job applications. So that resume workshop will help people with that barrier of not knowing how to write a resume in today's hiring processes. The other issues that people have is they don't know about the new way we interview. So we don't interview that asking, or replying to a question. I have 10 years experience at the phone company. Our new way of interviewing people is to have what we call outcomes-based answers. So instead of saying I have 10 years experience at this company, I would say I managed 3 grants and they came to a total of 1.5 million, and those grants helped 20 people get jobs in the elementary school system. So the interview questions and answers are all focused on a more outcome-based or behavioral kind of context. And we have to learn how to talk like that. We have to learn how to give answers that are like that. And so we have a workshop that will help people with that. And then we also have some recommendations on the best kinds of jobs for older job seekers. And those are ones that rely on and in fact encourage the diversity of experience that an older job seeker tends to have. And so we have tips on how to do that. And then just quickly on the form that I passed around with you, the blue side, we'll start there. The Resource Center, you can walk into our Workforce Center that's just down the street over at the hub, and people can access computers and the internet, help with doing online job applications, because that's a whole nother thing, and get some help in career exploration. We also have access to a statewide database system that's called Connecting Colorado that helps job seekers get connected with resources in their job search. We don't manage unemployment insurance, but we support people who are struggling with that system. So if somebody has problems with unemployment insurance and can't get through to unemployment insurance, you can come to the Workforce Center and we will help you. We'll get you on a hotline with the unemployment insurance people to resolve the problems. Of course, we have services for veterans, helping them get employed. And as you know, we have job fairs and services that go directly to businesses. And then back on the green side, maybe more relevant, interesting information to you. As I already mentioned, we have the workshops. We do have financial and home ownership trainings. Those are going to be going away at the end of the year because we lost the funding for that. We do have paid internships for people who are starting out in an entry level in a particular field that they want to explore. They don't want to commit to yet, but maybe they want to just find out about. Sometimes we can set up internships to help people do that. And then we have funding for education and certifications. These are grants that are from the federal government. They have a bit of paperwork, and we help people go back to school to pay for in-demand job certifications. So medical assisting, that is a really successful career path. People can get funding to go to school to become a medical assistant. You do have to qualify for one of our grants, yes.
Have you lost funding on that, or is that still okay?
We have the funding, but the amounts were cut this year.
Okay.
So we used to be able to pay a lot higher amounts, and now our caps are lower, and we're trying to serve as many people we can with lower levels of funding. But the funds still are available if people qualify for the grants. Right now we have primarily 2 grants. One is for people who have been laid off. And so if a person has been laid off, that almost automatically qualifies them for that grant. Or if they are very low income, we have a grant that supports that. We have other circumstances that we will support, but those are our primarily two different ways of qualifying for grants. And our grants change all the time. We have one coming in soon that will pay for people to take training in quantum careers. Quantum's a whole nother thing. But it's a great new field that people can get short-term training in and likely to get hired. And then we have a youth program that is a Young Leaders Academy, and also grants for young adults who are no longer in school or not in college and are trying to find their way. Lily, you want to talk for a minute?
Well, thank you, Lisa, and I think that really encompasses the scope of why we are here, and we want to give resources. We want you to be aware of what we do offer. And as Lisa hit upon, I think one of the most important things that we can do for any job seeker over 55 is to hone in on those skills, highlight them on that resume, so that that resume gets through to the right people. 9 times out of 10, it is the resume, because of the old ways, because of putting dates on it. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. So we are here for that. We have a great team of people also at the Hub that will help individuals with their particular resumes. Upcoming job fairs, we will highlight that in a big way. 2026, we haven't set a date yet, but it should be sometime in September. We do have a big job fair in April. It'll be the WICO job fair, and that can be in person. We'll have an in-person here at the Hub, and it's also online. So the most important thing, if you hear about people needing that additional job, that additional income, Connecting Colorado is absolutely the way to go. It just recently got revamped, and you go in there, you sign up, and you match with jobs. And those are local, those can be part-time, some of them are remote. I mean, it's just a matter of going through there. So there's a lot of resources. And that really basically tells a little bit about us. On my end, I vet employers, local ones in Boulder County, to make sure that they are who they say they are, and so it's a trusted source. You can go on Connecting Colorado. In the future, as money is available, currently we do not have any funding for employers to upskill their employees, but we do occasionally get grants, and that's when we work with employers. As Lisa mentioned, the quantum field is a huge one that's up and coming, so we will have more expanded opportunities as that comes around. But yeah, that pretty much does it for us. So if you have any questions, we're more than happy to answer anything you may have. Yes.
Do you have a capacity, are you able to work with a bilingual,
Yes.
real bilingual, I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
There are
We have.
people, they feel comfortable that yes, I go there, they're going to help me, they're going to guide me,
Yes.
and place me where I think should be.
On every team, we have bilingual Spanish staff.
Yeah. All the service navigators are fully bilingual, and they can help. They can help people anywhere from finding lessons in English, down to helping them with the paperwork that is necessary to enroll. So we do have that as part of our, approach.
You might have to stop me.
Okay.
You're not afraid to do it. I worked for the Employment Service 100 years ago at the beginning of my career, and I'm amazed how much it has changed, the language. A lot of the programs are similar, but how you refer to it and how you approach it is really quite different. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed.
Oh, we're glad to hear that.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I like it. I wonder if you've heard of Title V. I'm going back here about 45 years ago. This is another part of my career where the agency that I worked with had Title V money through the Division of Aging, where they provided work sites to seniors. It was pretty much minimum wage, but it was meant to be supplemental, not training necessarily, but just supplemental income. And that program was around several years, and I think it's been pretty much discontinued. But I sent you a proposal that kind of outlined an approach based on that kind of idea that you could have subsidized employment, but then along with that, you could have things like counseling, medical support, job coaching, those kinds of things. And I gathered from talking from you, that's really not much of a possibility, especially, and we started talking about that last July or June, way last summer sometime. And given what's happened politically, I just don't think that's in the cards, anything like that.
Yeah. Well, there
But
actually
to-
was something like that, and it just recently ended. What was it called? We had several seniors working at our front desk. It's called.
It's that link I sent you.
Yeah, there's 4 different. It's an acronym, of course, and it was very much like you're talking about, not entirely, but it was. They had a pool of seniors.
PACE.
Not PACE. It was the.
Was it the Senior Community Service Employment Program?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Somebody just asked us about that yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it still
It was
exist?
a great, no, lost their
Okay.
funding.
Yeah.
So it was a great program. So it is possible for that concept to come back alive. It was successful. We used it. We had people sitting at our front desk and serving clients at basic entry-level services. They got paid for it. It was, it was a good program.
Lisa, was that with Sheila Hart that would come up? She was with SCR, SEEP. I didn't know. I lost contact with her, so I didn't know if she was even still employed, if that funding went away.
I don't know if that was, I wasn't involved in getting that program
Okay.
connected with us, so I don't know if it was with her.
There was an SCR, SEEP representative that would come up to Boulder Workforce to your hub.
Yeah.
And she would set up office once a month up there. So we had met with her, but that program was pretty small in scope. You had to have a basic poverty level to qualify for that program.
Yeah, yeah. I think that might be part of what we're talking about. But yes, that's exactly what we had.
Let me pursue this second. Your funding's primarily still through Department of Labor.
Yes.
Okay. And you do submit grants, and it sounds like I don't know what your success has been this last year, but I'm looking to the future. Is it possible that we could develop some sort of a program along the lines that I just described, a supplemental income program for seniors? Possibly even in conjunction, write a contract proposal with you folks. Either ourselves or the city or some agency of the city. I don't know, I'm just blue skying at this point.
Yeah.
Is
You'd
something
have
like-
to identify who cares about this, that has the money.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so, and then you go from there, because then they get to describe what they want to invest in.
Yeah.
But it's not off the, you're not on an incorrect path. We just need to identify the
So-
right parties.
Is it something that could work out? I guess I don't want to waste a lot of time on something that's not going to work.
I can't answer that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
that's
mean,
true.
our
Okay.
economic outlook right now is different so much day to day.
Right.
So I couldn't commit to that we would be able to do it or we wouldn't be able to do it. Things are just
Yeah.
changing.
Okay, no, I'm not asking for a commitment.
Yeah.
I was just, like I said, I'm just blue skying for
Yeah.
ideas at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea is absolutely in the right path, and like Lisa said, it's just the economic environment right now. We've had to shrink just about everything.
Yeah.
And so while it would be wise to probably think about that and maybe develop it, there is no guarantee of funding at the moment. And as far as who to talk to about that, we'd have to kind of go over and maybe talk to Aaron about who that might be a good approach. But,
One last thing, and I'll shut up here. Would it be possible? I like the ideas of the workshops, developing interviewing skills and all that sort. Like I say, it's a different approach than it used to be. Would it be possible? And I'd be willing to talk to you folks further about it. That's kind of a one-shot deal. It's worthwhile, but it's just now and then. I wonder if we could set up something that's more of on an ongoing basis. For example, you had a job developer or a employment counselor come to the senior center once a week, once a month, something like that.
So we
Or,
have lot-
or the reverse, have a time for it at your offices, something along those
Yeah.
lines. And I'm not asking for an answer,
Right.
I'm just throwing out
Yeah.
some ideas or
Yeah.
question.
So with our constricted funding, we do have more limits on our resources. So we get a lot of requests for having satellite places around Boulder County to
Yeah.
offer services, and we can no longer do that. However, having in-person workshops is kind of making a comeback. And so that is something that, may be on the horizon again.
Well, John and I have been working on this, could I follow up with you folks on that whole issue?
Sure.
I have a question. As I understand it, there's a requirement coming up for people that want to be on Medicaid or SNAP benefits to do a certain amount of volunteer work. Is there any idea of doing a grant that might give them some stipend of some sort for that volunteer work in order to stay on their benefits? Have you talked about that?
We haven't.
Yeah, that is not really something that would be more at the state level, right? Like the creation of that would be at the state level, unfortunately. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
So we refer folks all the time over workforce, and we have had some workshops here before with them and haven't had really great attendance. And my suspicion is that people need it when they need it.
Yes.
We're not waiting to find a class and to go down the road. They want to go there immediately. When people go and they have a hard time connecting, is there like a point person we can talk to try to help troubleshoot that and get them connected?
The service navigators, there's always a service navigator at the hub available, and those are the ones that are also the bilingual ones. They will be your first point of contact for just about anything, unless it's employer related directly, and then you would go through the business services team.
And did we reach the navigators at that main line, the
Yes.
7760822?
Yep, that is the main line for the hub, and I believe there should be one for the Boulder office as well. And you can walk in any day, Monday through Thursday. They're not there on Friday, but Monday through Thursday, and talk to somebody between the hours of 8 and 4:30 p.m. So, yeah.
I lied, got one more question.
2 minutes.
That's
2 minutes.
twice? Okay.
2 minutes, go ahead.
Reminds me about the whole joke, anyway. Now I forgot what the question was.
Perfect. Good. Next, no. It'll come back. It'll come back. Any other questions? We'll put you.
It's gone.
Thank you both very much for
Oh,
that.
thank you.
Really appreciate your
Thank you
time.
very much. It was really informative.
Yeah, thank you.
It was good information.
I'm glad. We're here for
Reserve
you all.
in Spanish, Molly on the front desk. for you
Yeah,
as
I'll
well.
take any leftover handouts and I'll
Okay.
come out.
Fantastic.
I'll give you mine.
I do remember the question. Yeah, it is. I know people 55, 65, there's a lot of folks in that group that are looking for supplemental employees, employment of some kind. What about the older ones, like over 80 and 85? Realistically, are there that many people in the labor force at that age looking for employment?
Not many, but there are some.
There's a few,
Yeah.
but the bulk of them are 55, 60, 65.
Even up to 70, right?
Yeah, I'd say up to
Okay.
70 too. I mean, that's
Okay,
still lots of people in that range.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Did you say you have Spanish writers?
Just two comments on mine. First, I recall back in April, May, there was the Senior Citizens Technology Center, St. Vrain Innovation Center, event, but that was like capping off a lot of the conversations and trainings that were offered to seniors just on technology use in general. Is there any collaboration between this type of workforce development with some of those technology skills?
If I understand your question right, we are very involved with the St. Vrain School District and the CTEC, whatever.
CTC,
That's it, that one. Yeah. So we feel like technology is one of our priority fields
Great.
to be involved with, and so I think we work pretty closely as much as we can with that field and those employers and those trainers.
Great. And then the other comment, I just observed some of the youth and young adult programs here that I know you didn't speak about in the audience today, but this group actually did discuss some of the kind of youth services and crossover, what was it, 2 meetings ago, I think, in terms of what opportunities within the city there could be between children, youth, and families and the Senior Citizens Advisory Board. Perhaps longer term, we could think about if there's an opportunity for more crossover in these types of workshops too. We don't have to discuss that more today. I just wanted to make that observation. And thank you for sharing that.
I absolutely.
Sweet.
I know that a lot of you know a lot of young people.
Yes.
So that's why I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that, because we do have services and grants available for young people.
Yep. And a lot of the focus on some of the newer quantum grants are specifically geared towards 16 and 24-year-olds. So we're happy to answer questions about that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. I have a quick question.
Sure.
Sorry. Do you have numbers on who's looking for full-time as opposed to part-time?
We have a data person who does,
Yeah.
but I couldn't give you those. I don't think they're even anywhere in there.
Okay.
But
Yes, we do have somebody that can pull that, and they've got a lot of accurate LMI reports. So if you're interested in that, we can put you in contact with her.
labor market information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So and again, the first point of contact is to reach out through the first, and then they'll just kind of filter it to whoever needs to be answering those questions for you. Okay. Fantastic.
So anyone in particular, you just go there and all of them are able to.
Yes.
All of them will be able to direct you to the right person or help you themselves personally.
And I didn't mention all of our services are free.
Yes.
So nobody ever has to think about how much does it cost to get one-on-one career coaching. It's free.
It's a great place to start. Even if somebody doesn't know what they want to do, they can start really looking
Yes, but we serve
into
everyone.
what's available and start to get an idea.
Yeah, and I mean, we're unfortunately one of the best kept secrets. We don't do advertising, it's just not part of the funding model, but we love that you guys spread the word and let people know about us, so thank you.
We'll try to let more people in on the secret.
Yeah, let it out, let it out.
Yes.
All right, well,
All
it's so
right,
nice
thank you for
to see
your
Thank you
you.
both.
Thank you for having
Good
us.
work.
Thank you. Okay, and a new business, board vacancy updates. We went through that last meeting. I put a note out to Ronnie. The interview is supposed to be the beginning of the week, this week. The interview scheduled for the 21st. I'll let you know what he said about that. I'll probably email to you once he responds. Resolution?
Is there a committee?
Yes, the committee is Eric, Dave, and myself.
How many applications did you get?
Yeah.
Don't know. I put that out to Ronnie, and he hasn't responded yet. He's just coming back to work. So, but I'll email everybody through Ronnie or Randy. Resolution status, the resolution that we passed has gone to the city attorney, talked to Christina. City attorney is recommending that we put it into the January agenda, but we're seeing if we can move that up to get some resolution of the resolution this month or next month. We don't know yet. Reports? Randy?
You're not gonna go through the list here, I just have a few things.
Which list?
Are you? I don't know my list reports.
Yeah, starting with the manager's report.
Yeah. I'm not manager.
No, not yet. Not yet.
The Friends have a line item for facility improvements for us, so you may notice new furniture throughout the building. We have, I think, 3 different sort of shopping trips at this point to get new chairs for the lobby desk where volunteers sit, the computer room, all of the counseling offices, the waiting area for supportive services appointments, the pool room, and we had done the lobby last year. So we are complete there. That is really exciting for us because I've had the same chairs in my office for 11 years that tip a little bit when you put your arms on them to try to get out of them. So now we have something more stable. We're also looking at trying to replace the computers and the printer in the computer room here before the end of the year. Yeah, if not next year, but if we can do it before the end of the year, that's our goal. We had our volunteer appreciation event. Oh my goodness, was that last week or the week before?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
that had about 100 of our over 300 volunteers come, and that was a lot of fun. We really enjoy as a team showing our volunteers appreciation, so that's fun for us and for them.
It was a fun event.
Yeah. We have Native American Heritage Month celebration this Saturday, almost all day long. We are coming up on year-end spending deadlines, and I don't know if folks know, we have grants from the Friends of the Longmont Senior Center and the Area Agency on Aging that have different deadlines, so we're working with using as much of those funds as we can for the year. We've got some trends from the supportive services team that we wanted to share. We are seeing a lot of people getting scammed and catfished. And typically they will not hear reason from our staff, the police, adult protection services, or their families about the fact that they are being scammed. That is really, really difficult to help people, and they won't stop engaging with the scammers and stop giving the money, no matter who, from what role tells them this is clearly a scam. We've got a lot of folks with higher income coming in and looking for assistance who are unwilling to spend their own money on their needs, unwilling to sort of change their budget or their lifestyle to use their own funding, and we cannot assist people who won't use their own money to help when they can.
What kind of assistance, Brady?
Financial assistance.
Financial assistance.
Yeah.
For housing?
For housing, utilities, dental work, classes. Every time we get a financial assistance request, we look at people's budget, we look at what income and assets they have, and people are expected to pay what they can towards their own needs. And we've just had an unusual rash of people this year who don't want to spend their own money. They don't want to do their part, and we can't assist. We've had a lot of folks in their 90s recently, which is just a strange trend on the supportive services side. We've had also a string of people who can pay their rent and have chosen not to for a variety of reasons, and are very upset that we won't rescue them. But again, if someone can, if they have enough income to pay their rent and that money is available and they just choose not to, we cannot assist them. It's not a sustainable plan for people to just keep asking community organizations to pay their rent and not use their own income to do so.
How does that work? They just refuse, they don't, they have the money,
Yeah.
don't want to pay their rent.
I'm assuming.
Yeah. So we did have a long-standing issue from the pandemic where the courts were not actually evicting people. And there's a little bit of a lingering hang-up there where people learned they could get away with not paying their rent. And they learned that there was a lot of COVID-related funding to assist people, and a lot of folks did get assistance, particularly from the state, and just didn't want to keep paying their rent. So that's really hard. It's really, really hard when we have folks who go to city council or other places in the community to say that no one's helping them and that they're going to get evicted. But often the reason why no one's helping them is because they can, in fact, pay their bills and they're not.
So they just basically don't qualify for assistance.
No,
Yeah.
no. We can't rescue people from bad decisions.
And if they do qualify for assistance, we do have many different programs
Right,
that they can tap
exactly.
into. And
Yes.
we have folks who are very willing to work with them readily on that, on a very short term, quick turnaround notice.
Yes. Yeah, we're just talking about the trend of, there's a strange volume of people who are asking for assistance who won't use their own money to pay for their needs. I can't explain it. Celebrations, we have had a lot of people get long-term care Medicaid recently. We have had a lot of people who have maintained their housing through short-term crisis by getting financial assistance. We have seen a lot of folks get into affordable housing after long waits, and those waits are often a couple years at this point. We get a lot of assistance from our resource volunteer, Ann Morales. We always like to give her credit for helping our team with sort of simple applications for people to get benefits assistance. And knock on wood, so far we are not seeing grant funding cuts from the variety of grants that we access. Some of those grants are specifically about vision needs or health needs. Some of them are specifically about caregiving support. And then we've got those two big grants from the Friends of the Senior Center and the Area Agency on Aging, which we can use for a breadth of basic needs. And at this moment, We have not lost any of those sources of funding, and we feel very fortunate because the landscape, as everyone knows, financially is really concerning and could change at any moment.
So the Area Agency on Aging cut their caregiver program.
So they cut the staff who specifically serve caregivers and put together caregiver programming, yes, but they have resource specialists who still serve caregivers. And we actually just did a training with them on our model of how we serve caregivers a couple weeks ago.
Thank you for your support of the change to the date of the food table. That
Oh,
was
yes.
really great. You got the word out really quickly to people, let them know. Is it possible to get a sign posted Saturday morning?
Oh,
at
yes.
8?
I am personally going to be here and doing that. It's going to be out at the sidewalk to try to catch people before they get in and see the crowd.
Arlene
It's
said
here
she'd be
for
there
the-
too with her flashlight to say, no,
Yeah.
you can't connect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was really helpful. Anything else?
Nope.
Sure. First of all, I just want to say it's been a real pleasure being part of this board over the last 9-10 months, and I don't know what the next council will decide in terms of board assignments. I will definitely put my hand up to continue to serve here because I've really enjoyed supporting you all and learning from you all. So just wanted to express my preference there in front of you all. I don't know exactly how that's going to work in the transition, but I hope to continue being a partner to the Senior Citizen Advisory Board, whether I'm officially the liaison or just on council in general. Know that you always have an ally there. I think just the one update I wanted to provide was at the last meeting, I believe I shared that the Alta Vita senior residents were kind of going, the company there, Alta Vita, that provides independent senior living and assisted living and various other facilities on the west side of town, just behind Dry Creek and King Supers, I believe. They were requesting an environmental variance, a riparian setback variance, which means things around the river corridor area, to be able to expand their facilities. I think they were targeting another 80+ number of independent senior living units. That did get approved by council last week. The variance got approved, so they will be proceeding with their plans to build that. Happy to go into more details on that, but I just figured I'd circle back around to that so that folks can know where that stands. That will be part of their suite of services that they offer through their assisted living programs. And there's more information online if you're curious to learn. The main just for those curious, the main issue there was not whether council supported senior housing or not. It was whether this variance, which is an exception to the current rules for development within that ecosystem, was allowed to proceed or not, whether we'd accept that variance to the current rules. City staff and the applicant for that, Alta Vita, had to go through a fairly extensive sustainability evaluation scoring process to kind of look at what their net impact would be on the ecosystem. Came out to be favorable, that the improvements that they were going to make, including the development, was going to be a net positive for the area. That largely informed council's decision to allow for that exception and allow for that variance. So the facility, we don't control whether it gets built or not. That's a private sector decision there, but I believe they will be proceeding to build those and expand their campus over there.
So when they decide to start building, is this going to be for rent only, or are you going to have places over there that can be purchased?
Great question. My understanding from their presentation, because these will be rental units as part of their independent senior living facilities. I believe they will be kind of small sets of rental, so it won't be just like a big building. Mm-hmm. It'll be kind of sets of probably 4 to 8 units in kind of different building blocks, is I think what they're planning. I think they're planning 3 to 4 different blocks of units, basically as part of that kind of campus overall, so that there's multiple different types of units available.
Matt, will it be assisted living or independent living?
I am 99% sure that it's independent senior living. Yes.
Thank you.
And one of the benefits of their location is that they're right off of that Greenway Trail.
Right.
It's just south of that, so it allows for very easy walkability or bikeability, depending on your preference there. It's directly, it's like 2 blocks from Red Barn Park or Willow Farm Park, if you're familiar with that park, as well as you go the other direction and you have multiple markets and stores that are within a 1/4 mile walking distance. So from a walkability and accessibility standpoint, it's very close for those services, especially for folks who don't want to drive or don't like to drive or can't drive anymore. Yeah, Eric.
I had a question. What happens to the vacancy in Ward 3?
What Eric's referring to is because because our current mayor pro tem Susie Hidalgo Faring won her election. She is in the middle of her term as the Ward 3 council member. She will vacate that seat to serve as mayor now going forward. My understanding, though this is the first time I'm going through this, is that through the vacancy of that seat, it will not be an appointment process like what happened with me, because it's more than a year from the next election. It will be a special election, I think likely held during early 2026 to fill just that Ward 3 vacancy. So I don't know what that process will fully look like, but I believe it'll be a special election process that the city has planned to run, recognizing that 2 of the 4 candidates for mayor would have vacated their seats. Had Councilmember Christ won, the same process would have existed for Ward 1 as well. So I think the city was planning for that as an option, and we will just lay out the procedures and the guidelines and all the timing for that once there's more clarity on how that's going to work. Yeah.
So there could be a couple of months with a board seat vacant. Not could be, there will be. City council is currently 7 members. Once the new council takes effect, I believe at the beginning of December, then there will be multiple months where it's a 6-person council with 1 vacancy, and while that next seat is being determined to be filled. So there could be multiple situations where tie votes go to don't advance something if it's a 3-3. That is suboptimal in a general situation, so I believe we'll be trying to fill that vacancy as promptly as possible within the rules of our election procedures and all that. Yes.
On behalf of the board, I hope you continue as our liaison. I also want to thank you for showing up at the food table the way you have to support us.
Yeah.
That's really been wonderful.
Thank you. I look forward to continuing to do that, regardless of whether I'm liaison.
Yeah.
The support's been helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? Next is the other reports. Arlene, you have most of them.
Sorry. I'll know one more thing on the food. Thank you for the reminder on that. With the council transition, I know we've talked about the request from this board in the past to add food security as a priority.
Yes.
For various reasons, I'm not fully aware of why that didn't fully officially get integrated into this council's priority list, even though there was that direction to do that back in June, I think. I fully intend to kind of reactivate that conversation with the new council to bring that food security issue kind of front and center. It could not be more front and center, frankly, in people's consciousness now, given some of the SNAP concerns and gaps in service. So I think that's front and center for many people's minds, and all the more reason why we should make sure that that is treated as the priority that this group believes it should be.
In our exchange of emails about that, you've been very supportive, so thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. Is there anything else you need from the board for the information we can provide?
I think maybe this is more of a comment note for staff, but it could be useful to re-up that request and the information and the presentation from this board with the new council so that they can have that updated information. I think that's probably the only thing that would be particularly helpful as the next council is trying to think about its priorities going into the new year.
So another presentation to the city council?
I don't know if it's another presentation. It could be. I think it could be useful for 1 or 2 of you to show up to the new council in December and just kind of reiterate that. I don't know if it has to be a full presentation or not, but perhaps just re-upping those materials for the new council members to catch up on would be valuable. There'll be, I guess, 2 new members of council joining.
We're not bashful. We can show up again. That'd be great. Thank you.
I'm always welcome to have you.
And what would the time frame be for it to go through and be approved as a priority?
That's a great question. I have never been in this part of the process there because I kind of was jumped into the end of the last council.
Right.
My understanding is that typically city council would set those priorities during a city council retreat officially, which usually happens in January, February timeframe. We can always amend and set priorities and policy priorities kind of throughout, but it kind of helps to have a sense of priorities all at one time and kind of really look at what are we actually focusing on. But starting that conversation in December would probably be useful to try to build traction for that. It's also extremely timely, as I just mentioned before, given
Yeah,
the lot
exactly.
Yes.
of public consciousness around food security these days.
Okay.
So I think it would only help to bring that up early. I will do my part to bring that up early, but I think it always helps to hear from members of the Senior Citizens Advisory Board and other members of the community who are passionate about this.
We'll be there in December.
Excellent.
We will do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Arlene?
So, one of the things that I want to talk about on the Area Agency on Aging is that we do need a representative from this board. Now, I know that you're going to have some new people coming on, and they may be wanting to do it, but it seems to me that if we are the biggest center in Boulder County, that when we can get a representative from Louisville and Lafayette and Boulder City, from their advisory boards, that we can come up with one from here. I've been doing it because I'm on the Boulder County Advisory Board anyway. But hey guys, next month is my last month. So somebody needs to step up and do this. Now, you don't have to go to the meetings which are held in various parts of the county because that gives you an idea of what's going on. Because you can do it on Zoom if you want to. VIA does provide rides if you don't feel like you want to go. Drive yourself there, because we do go into the mountain communities. VIA will take you. So please think about it, because I think it would be nice if we actually had a representative on there so that they don't come back to us again and say, what are you doing over there in Longmont? Anyway.
Are we scheduled to have an advisory board monthly meeting here?
For Boulder
It
County?
doesn't seem like we've had one in a while.
We probably haven't had one since
Yeah.
last year, but, and it's not, and December is, we don't have a meeting anyway, but this is November, I know. We have one.
Early.
I wouldn't drop it to.
Saturday?
No, they're on Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're on Friday.
Yeah, Friday. And it is 3 hours. It's from 9 to 12. It is 3 hours. But they always provide speakers there to tell you what's going on in the county, what kind of resources are available, so that information can come back to the board, and the board can pass it out if anybody asks any questions. They're always very informative. So I would like us to have a representative. That's my spiel.
Next report?
Well, the next two are not me.
Oh, I'm surprised.
They're actually Eric and John.
Eric, when's this next sustainability meeting, do you know? Do you remember?
No, because I never hear from him. That's probably on me, but no, I never hear from him.
You know what, Eric Naomi, I think, is the chair of the Sustainability Committee.
I'll get in touch with her.
Yeah, because she'll be at our next food market.
Okay, John? Anything?
I don't have any idea.
Okay.
What was presented today.
Arlene, you're back up.
Food table, okay. I would just like to address Brandy's question a little bit farther about the age thing, because we have talked about this, particularly in regard to what do we do if somebody looks like they're under 55, okay? We don't ask questions, so that I think it's something to think about for the next one that's coming up, because we don't know who's going to show up. And the answer that we have received is, if they are younger than 55, that we just need to say to them, you need to move to the end of the line. After all the seniors have gone through, then you will be able to go through as well. We don't really want to turn anybody away. I just feel real bad about that if we have to, but that's kind of the way that we're going to have to go. So we just don't take.
We've not taken a list of everybody, like their names and their phone numbers. We don't have anything.
No, and we shouldn't do. Yeah, right.
I mean, we don't need it.
Yeah.
I mean, if something happens, we have a list called, it's not gonna be this Saturday until the next one, because of X reason.
Yeah.
But we don't have, there's many people, we don't know if they're really local from here. We'd say 55, gotta be, live in Longmont. But the word's passed,
It is to live in Longmont? Because there are some members of the center that are from out of town, right?
Yeah.
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 We
So
don't
I
have
don't know if
membership.
you can
I mean,
limit
people
it.
can just come.
We just don't ask questions. I mean,
I've told them, you gotta be 55 and you gotta be a resident of Longmont in order to come. I told the ones that I've told. Yeah.
okay.
But we don't have control. We don't have nothing.
No, we don't have control, but, yeah, at least we've got something set up that if we have younger people come in, and we have had younger people come, but they've come with an older, their grandmother or something like that. But if they come separately, then the answer is, we need you to wait until the end of the line, because the seniors need to go through first. And then if they hit us and knock us over, then you know what? I know you guys can pick me back up again, so in the water.
There you go.
The reason we don't ask any of that information is we do this under the auspices of Longmont Food Rescue. We provide the space and the volunteers. So their program is we open up to everyone. What they've done here is that we only open up to seniors, but they don't collect information. They ask no questions. It's just part of their mandate on their board. That's why we don't do that. We've taken polls, asked for information about what kind of support we can offer, what kind of food you like, but that's about it as far as paperwork. But that's their decision. We have nothing to do with that. So, anything else?
Okay, so I would just like to address the lady that was here today, only for you guys that are on the board to know that, yes, she lives in a Longmont Housing Authority facility, and she has addressed this situation with the Housing Authority staff on several occasions, and they have worked with her very well. They have told her that, you know, this is where you have to go to, if you're going to pursue this any further, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. They have helped her to identify that she can put some type of screening on her windows that would, you know, kind of keep some of that radiation out. And they're still continuing to, because she comes to the meetings and she talks about it, they still are continuing to talk with her about it. So I want you all to know that she's not being ignored.
Just at the last community meeting, we have a monthly community meeting. Quincy was very good about, you know, this really isn't the place to go into a long discussion, but if you come to me afterwards, I'll tell you what I found out, or if there's anything more I can, you know, work with you on. I mean, he does have conversations with her.
Yeah.
So no, she's not being ignored.
She's not being ignored.
Okay. Any open discussion? Any items you'd like to put forth to the board? I would, if nobody else does.
Well, I wanted to know how Ronnie was.
He is recovering. His recovery, I will just say very briefly, went a little bit unexpectedly sideways, got a little complicated. So this week he is working from home, kind of part-time, just seeing day to day. If any of you have ever had a major surgery, you know, like when you try to resume normal life, it's a transition. So he's in that transition. We're trying to just not bother him with too much this week and see if maybe he can be back on site next week.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I'm sure he would appreciate you asking.
We've done a couple of reviews of our bylaws in the last year, membership, number of members required, things like that, having the vote in December. I'd like to review the bylaws and ask for input from each of you by the 19th of November so we can present it to the board in December. We're required to give the board 5 days notice of any changes or additions or deletions. I'd also like to see if I can get a volunteer or two to help me review them, put forth any questions so we can have it for the board on the 19th or the next meeting. Arlene, Eric, one more, Dave. Okay. So this we'll be in contact. Oh, there can only be two. What's the ruling? We can't meet more than if there's more than two.
Right.
More than two.
Okay. We'll do it to Ronnie as far as getting. We'll get together and figure out a way to get those things before the board for the next meeting. Anything else?
I would like to throw something out here for all of you. And Dave, Brenna brought this issue up, at least 2 years ago maybe. And in our bylaws, which we're going to discuss anyway, it actually says in there that powers and duties are to review the annual budget requests relating to senior citizen programs. I think that we need to review the budget. We don't give input on it, other than if we're asking for something that we need to maybe go to the city council about and say, hey, you know what, this is something like it. But just to take a look at the budget to see where the revenues come from and where the expenditures go, and then actually to review that on a regular basis. So I'm going to back up to some of the places that I have been and boards I have been on that do this on a regular basis. And I'm going to start with Friends. Friends has their budget every single month, and it is extremely detailed. And it tells you this is what's been spent, this is how much is left for the year, and this is the percentages that are left. Housing Authority does it on a quarterly basis, and it is also, pretty in-depth because it has it by each facility, but it also has the overall budget. I would think it would be nice if we could review it on a quarterly basis. And the reason I think that is because if you go and separate your quarters into 25, 50, 75, 100, so the first quarter, your percentages would show how are we in line with that 25%. If we're under, the money just keeps going forward. If we're over, then, there's a time to ask a question of, we're over, $3,000 or something like that. Can you just give us an idea of how that was spent? And then when you get to the end of the year, or close to the end of the year, if there's money that's left over, then I think take a look at it, and are there things that have come up during any of our meetings, or even the senior center has, said something about it, that maybe we could encumber those funds, and if they're encumbered, then they should be okay. We should still have them available. But that is just my suggestion, which, I think, Dave, do you want to weigh in on this? You've brought it up several times.
Yeah, I wasn't really prepared to talk about it today, but I've always thought that we should have some input as far as the budget is concerned. Let's see if I can organize my thoughts here, kind of working backwards. It seems to me that one of the things as a board we should be looking at are the outcomes and what has been accomplished by the senior center. Not that we want to tell the staff of the senior center what to do, but are the things being done in line with the kind of things that the city council want done for the senior community? So that's kind of the end result, but it's hard to have any kind of evaluation of the end result of all the activities unless you have some knowledge of the budget. And so the budget is where all the action is. Once through your budget that you decide who gets funded, what programs are funded, and all that sort of thing. The budget drives your program. So that's why I agree with Arlene that if we want to have influence, this is not directly to the board or to the staff, but rather through the city council, we'd be in a much better position if we could quote or use some of the budgetary figures just to say, well, there's been XYZ service and there hasn't been that much money devoted to that XYZ service, and discussing with the staff and on the board, we think it should be increased, that kind of stuff. And so to have input, because we do have opinions, we do have knowledge, and I think that sort of input could help in the budgetary process. Not that we want to tell the staff what to do. I do know, as being a public employee for 40 years, that you don't like outsiders butting their nose in.
Yeah. Right.
John?
Yeah, I know that. And so I understand how the staff feels. But still, we are an advisory board to the city council, and it seems to me that's part of our job. And it hasn't been done because it's not the sort of thing people really think about. As, okay, I'm on the advisory board and I'm going to listen to what people say and I'll give them my opinion. Well, that's important, but it's a little short of what I think I'm doing here, so what we should be doing. So anyway, that's, like I say, I don't think Arlene means this either, to be too involved, to be too overbearing,
Right.
to be a pain in the butt, you know, which is, you remember that. You know, you got outsiders being pains in the butt, thinks they know what they're doing, and they don't. But it's just part of our responsibility, and I agree with Arlene.
Who owns the budget for the senior center? Is it Christina?
I think it's Ronnie.
No, it's Rodney.
I don't know what you mean by own. Ronnie manages the
Like
budget.
the pool of money that gets spent
Yeah,
on various operations.
He manages the budget and he gets monthly reports. Their whole leadership team gets
All right.
monthly reports from the city about the budget and where we're at with the different line items.
Okay. So my advice would be I see where you're going with this, and I think we need to
I
sit
would,
down with
one
Ronnie, sit
area
down.
I might disagree with a little bit with you is quarterly. I don't know about quarterly. I guess what I see is affecting the final decisions for the annual budget, and maybe that could be done once a year, or maybe a couple of meetings, something like that. I don't have a problem with quarterly, but that sort of discussion could get pretty time consuming, you know. And so I'm just thinking, yeah, okay, but I was thinking when I brought it up was more of an annual review.
Well, we can review that as part of the process of the bylaws. I know Ronnie has information he provides to the Friends on a regular basis, so let's see if there's some way to put that together and
Yeah.
get his input on that.
And one other thing I'll add here is there have been a couple of boards that I'm familiar with, the airport board being most recently relevant here, where some budget information was not provided regularly and was helpful for some decision making. As I think the only thing that I could think of as being a concern here, I appreciate the not wanting to overly micromanage a situation, but budgets are a reflection of priority, right? And perhaps the greatest reflection of priority from a policy standpoint, and even just a program services standpoint. So I think to the spirit of the suggestion here, I will also offer to talk with both our city manager and the next council to figure out kind of what level of budget awareness do we want all the boards and commissions to have. Because I think there is value in allowing you to weigh in there, and it's almost overwhelming. Having just been through the first budgeting cycle for the city, in my capacity currently, there's so much information provided, and sometimes information overload is not productive either. So there could be value in either quarterly updates so that you can kind of get used to that, or some other frequency, maybe 2 or 3 meetings leading up, 2 or 3 months in a row leading up to the annual budget discussions. Whichever, we can figure out which kind of cadence is most helpful, or best from an advisory board standpoint. But as long as Ronnie and staff are preparing, it's not much extra work for that. I don't see any reason why that should be something that we resist in any way. So I appreciate the suggestion, Arlene, and Dave and John, thanks for the conversation on that.
Can I add a note about the end of year spending? We do have a discretionary funding freeze or spending freeze from the city, so they have asked that if we have money left in our budgets at the end of the year, that we try not to spend those right now because of the financial situation that everyone's looking at, right? Not just the city, the county, the state, everyone. So I don't know that we can realistically field suggestions about what to do with any money left over that we would have been able to do in the past.
Well, it could be suggestions about what to prioritize within the current confines too.
Well, and I don't think we're looking at this year anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, this year is
It's set,
yeah, and next year may be just as upsetting as this year. But just the idea of seeing it, to kind of just monitor it. And I'd be surprised if there were a lot of questions about it, but then, what do I know?
But then that also would allow us to see that the staff in their different departments, programs, are they okay with what they have? Do they need additional money for additional staff that are running short, a lot of work, and not enough staff? That's not right, That needs to be noticed, because there is, other than that sometimes, programs or staff are understaffed, that they could use more, so we get to know, hey, they want more dinero.
And you would get to see the trends, as you're going through it, you would get to see that this is trending up. whereas this one here is kind of staying the same. That's really the only thing I'm thinking about, is that if we can see where that's going.
Yeah, those quarterly reports, or any kind of report, can be set up pretty simply, actually. You know, okay, you got certain percentages on your budget, for example, and then you got
Yep.
certain percentages on your program, and you
Right.
just look at the column and see where the difference,
Exactly.
stuff like that.
I think what's
Yeah.
interesting in this conversation, not every board and commission is the same here, in that you guys actually have a specific charge overseeing a specific part of the city's budget. The sustainability board, for instance, is very cross-cutting on different types of policy, less so on specific services. So in these types of situations, I think it would really behoove you all to have that information to be able to best advise council. I see only an upside to that, as long as you're willing to put in the time to dig through it. So absolutely will help try to give you more information so you can provide better updates. I mean, I think it would only help us when we go through the budgeting process next year and in subsequent years if there's actually a slide update from staff that says, and this is the Senior Citizens Advisory Board's feedback on the budget for this year. I mean, that would be extremely valuable. And I think it would help enhance the quality of discussion and considerations that this board has in general. So I really appreciate that suggestion.
The balance of that is it's more work.
It's more work, but I don't see the budget being
No,
more than 2 or
not
3
really.
pages.
I don't know that it is more work because we already get a budget
Right.
report every month that
Right.
has, like I said, all of the
It
line
would
items.
just be about including it in your packet, and if people had questions, you could add it to the agenda. I mean, that's the chair and vice chair's discretion here, obviously, but on how you want to handle that in the agenda. But
Yeah.
as long as it's not a huge lift for staff, I don't see why this would be a particularly concerning.
I think the information is available because I know Ronnie provides that
Yeah.
to the Friends meeting. So 2 things. One is we'll review part of the bylaws, what it says. And if you give us some input on priorities from the city manager, I think it'll give us more clarity
Sure.
going forward. I think it also tells us that next year we may be appearing for the city council a little more regularly than we have in the past. So,
Not a bad thing.
not a bad thing.
We always appreciate guest cameos.
Okay, we're not bashful. We're not bashful. We just gotta get some oomph. Good. Anything else?
I got a question
Yes.
for Randy. How's the go coming?
It's coming well. We're in the editing process for the winter spring go, which is January through March? April? Thank you.
What's the go?
The Go magazine.
Oh, thank
The
you.
Golden Outlook.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So we do it 3 times a year, 4 months at a time. So it is coming together. There's a really big change for the winter spring go in that we are trying to meet ADA requirements to have 12-point font throughout the entire go, which of course will make it longer. So print costs are out of this world. So we are trying to do shorter descriptions, still capture the essence of what a program is, but shorter descriptions. And we're removing the resource guide and having it be a separate handout because we know everyone who takes the go does not need the resource guide. It also will be in 12-point font. So it is also longer. So we're trying to juggle some of the print issues around that, and I think it's going to work out pretty well.
So, now I have a question that actually came up at our meeting the other day. When you're going through the go, so that we don't bump up into something like we did in November with the food market, is there any way that we can say every second Saturday we're going to do the food thing and not have because that throws us way off if we have to change
I
that.
think we've put it in we have a system BSI where we have the calendar for the rooms. I think we have it on the calendar for next year so that it jumps out that it's every second Saturday. Can you
That it's in the
confirm that? Can you
lobby?
pull it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, other things go on, we get that, but just so that we're not bumped out of the place again, because once you start changing things, you lose people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
To that point, will the food table interrupt what's going on here in the lobby in December? Because last year we had Christmas trees and food donation boxes at the trees.
We will still have trees and donation boxes in the lobby, yes, but I don't know that it will be in the way.
Okay.
I think
We're moving a lot of people to the cafeteria, so there's not a lot of waiting in the lobby, but I want to make sure we don't trip over stuff. Okay.
We have found programmatically, like it has actually interfered with other things in the building. Like we had a teacher request to not have classes on the second Saturday because so many people needed to go to the food table. It interfered with their ability to be in her class. So that is something we're trying to sort out.
So we'll know that second Saturday is protected going forward.
But, so that's what I was asking,
Yeah.
is can you
Yeah,
confirm that
so-
it's in Supergrid?
It is in Supergrid and you can see it when it comes to the scheduling of all of the classes happening throughout the facility. I don't see any trouble. I was just thinking this December, we do have that parade of lights that happens, but that will be in the afternoon. People usually tend to gather around like 3 o'clock,
Yeah.
4 o'clock for all of the
Right.
trailers to come in,
Right.
and you should
We'll
all
be
be gone
gone.
by
We'll
then.
be gone.
Right.
Long
I mean, unless
Yeah.
you're gonna do a food rescue trailer.
And
I'm just.
Don't even bring that up.
Lonnie's, I can see the wheels turning on Lonnie, just like, could do that.
we don't have control all the time over larger city events, so we absolutely cannot guarantee that there will
Right.
be a
Right.
festival
Yeah,
in the park on the
exactly.
second Saturday, or that it may end up being the best time for Native American Heritage Month, right? That,
But it's
those
something-
decisions aren't solely ours.
Sure.
Yeah, and the city things going on, might just drop our numbers a little bit, but, yeah, it's just, if we can avoid getting bumped, that makes it kind of nice.
Absolutely.
I'm missing 2 sheets.
I'll leave this one.
Any other questions or comments? Have a motion to adjourn?
Can I say something?
Oh, that was quick.
When the newspaper came out, an article, and I took a copy, and I forwarded to Veronica, to make copies, where the other, food pantries are going to be valuable in Longmont, so people, and I think it's really important, I'm trying to have on that day, so we can give it to people. She made me 9 copies,
Yeah.
ones, but I guess
That was a nice
to make
article.
more, so we can pass them out to the food dispensary on Saturday, so they'll know where else to go here in Longmont.
Thanks for bringing it up. The Friends, through Donna and Laura, are going to the food pantry on the Wednesdays to pick up food to bring here, dry goods mostly, for our food table. And last month, we had the food drive here with how many pounds of food was it that we collected, you remember?
I don't even know if that's
I
on.
think it's on your napkin.
No, that was from when she was at the park
Oh, okay.
for 254.
There's the food drive we did last month for Hunger Action Month was pretty successful. A lot of that food weight came from the round pantry from the Friends, so we're making those deliveries also. It's just the efforts of this board to get that to work has been stellar. Thank you. Really a big deal. So, and the motion to adjourn. Yeah. Motion to adjourn. Yes. Thank you, Don. Second. Oh, we just finished. Go ahead.
A quick statement that Laura and I teach a class on Tuesdays, and yesterday, our class donated a total of $103.99 to the food rescue people. I made that donation this morning on behalf of our class, because they wanted to do something. We were discussing our topic for this month is gratitude. And so in gratitude, they wanted to.
Would you like a preview of coming attractions from the Winter Go about gratitude?
Sure.
We are going to utilize the wall in this hallway between the women's restroom and G to have a random acts of kindness and gratitude display. So you'll see in the Winter Go that people will be able to pick up things like, I think, mittens. There's 4 different templates we have. Hearts,
Sweaters, gloves.
thank you. And write on it something that you're grateful for, or share a random act of kindness that you observed, in whatever language you want to write that in, and we're going to have them displayed on the wall.
That's wonderful.
If you want to tell your group.
Oh, yeah. And just feedback into that is that every November, our class will be focused on gratitude. Every November.
And then every December is setting intentions for the new year.
So now,
taught here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. On Tuesdays from 10 until 11:30. Yeah, it's beyond the possibility description in the class.
In humanities?
Okay.
I think it's in the humanities
Yeah, I
section.
think it is, yeah. Laura and I and a third colleague lead the class. And then it's based on Bobby Nesham's class that she started about 10 years ago. Brandy, something like that?
Yeah.
Bobby's now 91 years old, and I personally see to it that she gets here on Tuesdays. So she's like our mascot, our mantra.
Big Zoom class.
Oh, we also do it by Zoom. Thank you. Yeah, we have a classroom full of people, and we had 10 people on Zoom yesterday.
Yeah.
That's great.
As well as the classroom.
And they can switch. So, you know, if they sign up to be in the class, I'm sorry.
If
As
they
a
sign up-
I'm a good participant.
Yeah, she's a very good participant.
Yeah, she's one of our classes.
As if they sign up and then they're sick, or they don't have a ride, they can still switch to that class. That was a lot of questions, if you signed up one way, did you get?
No, we let people go back and forth. So.
All right, thank you, everyone. See you next month, and I'll be in touch about the bylaws group. Thank you. We are adjourned.